Hello, Education 1301. Here is your week 3 explanation. We're going to be moving on to looking at philosophies of education. This will take us through January 28th. So when we talk about philosophies of education, we are really talking about these broad theoretical frameworks that lay the foundations for how people think, children think and learn, and it helps drive how we teach, assignments, those types of things. And so most of us are a blend of a couple of them. So we're going over SLOs 3 and 4. We have a quiz, a discussion, and your first field experience. We're also going to be creating our portfolios. You don't need to put anything in them. However, you will from this point on be able to, after you get done with assignments, add them. And then start thinking about your philosophy of education. That will be due in week 4. You will have to submit that to the online writing lab and get feedback from them and make corrections before you submit them. So go ahead and start composing that this week. So with the philosophy and culture curriculum lecture materials, as we go on, here is the hidden curriculum again, and there is the formal curriculum, which is the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills. This is what the state of Texas says all 5th graders need to know. This is what U.S. history students need to know. Those different types of things. You've got informal, which is strategies you use to teach the formal curriculum. And then you have the hidden curriculum, those messages that you are sending without even knowing it. They could be about gender, they could be about culture, they could be about power relationships, those types of things. We have educational philosophies. This goes over the 5 most common, and it really dives down into there's a teacher-focused philosophy and a student-focused philosophy. What information do you think children need to know by the time they graduate high school? Those break down into that. This is John Dewey's progressivism, and so this is the first time it really makes a big show on the field of education in the 40s, and the idea that a lot of times we sit there in class and think, when am I ever going to need this information again? Well, progressivism is trying to solve that. We need to teach you skills and knowledge that are applicable in the future, show you why you need to know it. Develop these projects where math isn't separated from writing or science. It's all together, because in real life, when you're an engineer, you don't really separate those things out. So this is the first foray into that. Double checking that video, and then this is just a fun video. These are the report cards of my grandfather from the 30s and 40s. And I just think it's interesting looking at the history. What did people think was important in 1935? As you can see, it was you graduated. Here we are. Citizenship is huge. Look at that, 18 items. We're over here, we haven't gotten to arithmetic. And then he goes into junior high. And so you can see civics, remedial reading, physical education. And then you go into high school, and it's really interesting to find out mechanical drawing, domestic science, typing, stenography. I think it's very telling. Bookkeeping, law. And so trades were done in high school, where now trades in the formal training, and because we move at such a fast pace and information doubles so often, now you're looking at having college trade schools, post high school schools. And so Texas has come up with the idea of pathways that you start these trades in high school, and then you continue them on at trade schools or community colleges to continue on. So then we've got your Module 3 quiz, 2 attempts, 10 questions. Then we have the discussion. Everybody's in this group discussion. Somehow the Canvas didn't separate them out like I thought they did. So 28 of us will be in here. And what I want you to do is, after reading it, watching YouTube, thinking about philosophy, learning theories from last week, what has stood out to you most? And what questions do you still have about it? And then I want you to give 2 specific examples. And so think about high school, elementary school. So did you ever see behaviorism? Did you ever experience a reward system when you were going to school? Did you ever see anybody demonstrate scaffolding to you? And if you are currently where you can see teaching going on because you are subbing or you are a paraprofessional in the classroom, you're welcome to use these examples as well. Initial post of 200 words and then 3 comments of at least 100. They must be done on 2 different days in order to receive full credit. Then you've got field experience 1, which is your teacher interview. So I just interviewed Diane Fielding. She is an adjunct here, as well as the kindergarten teacher for Gunner. And so I interviewed her last week. And so go ahead and watch this one. And so what you're going to do is you're going to watch 2 of them. And so here's Ms. Hughes, Talbert, Parker has 2 parts as well. And so what you're going to do is complete this form on both of them. These are the questions. Some of them may not have been completely answered. Answer them the best that you can with the information that the teacher did. And then you are going to compare and contrast them. You know, what's the difference from a vision teacher versus a kindergarten teacher? What did they think was important? What did they highlight? What did they think about administrators? Those different types of things as well. And so that's going to be field experience 1. This is going to be your field time by watching these interviews. You're welcome to listen to all 4 so you can get different perspectives. Next, you're going to need to create your portfolio link. And so this takes you to the portfolio page. And so this is the introductory paragraph example. You don't have to do that quite yet. But down here, I've made a video, and this is when we will be going back into the classroom. There will be different assignments there, but the pages are going to be all the same. And so these are the page names right here. Resume, philosophy of education, field-based. And I will be looking for the full names in order to give you correct name of pages. And so I will show you a completed one. You need to go in through your Gmail in order to see it. If you're using something that's not your Grayson email, you won't be able to have access to it. But here's a resume page you can see. And all you have to do is go this, create the pages. Then you can't see me, copy, and then you're going to go into the discussion. You will hit reply and you will post. And I would write down this link as well as any passwords just in case. And I will tell you, save it somewhere. All of these documents that are going to be on here, you're going to need to save. I have many students. I had one, and I had her in 2011, and she still wanted to know if I had her philosophy of education, and I don't. And so now she's going to have to recreate that from scratch. And so these are the documents that you're going to have to save as well. And then also don't forget that your philosophy of education, go ahead and start that. You can see in next week's module what that will look like. So I look forward to seeing you guys on the discussion board.